Hey everyone, and welcome to Sketching with Sarah, a channel where me, Sarah, uploads a new video every Friday of art-related content. My videos usually have something animal-inspired to do with them, whether it's fun facts that I find out about animals that inspire me, or just straight up art challenges that I find fun. This is part 2 of my sketchbook tour. This is a sketchbook I am using, and if you haven't seen part 1, I'll have it linked in the description for you to check out. I highly recommend it and encourage you to do so. So without further ado, let's get right on into part 2. Alright, on this page I decided to sketch a tiger, really trying to get that perspective from a reference drawing I was looking at. The toes in particular I was trying to get the angles for, and by the time I finished with this Colerase, the orange part of it, when I was making this sketch, I thought I wanted to start making all of the stripes, and then I kind of lost momentum and just didn't really follow through. So I did it here and there, but I couldn't commit to the rest of it because I was kind of bored and I was also watching TV, so I think that episode was getting interesting or something, and I was like, oh, this will be fine. It's just a sketchbook, you know? And then this is another Draw This in Your Style challenge. I actually wrote it here. It's yunki.16 on Instagram. So with Draw This in Your Style challenges, I usually would do them digitally because that's what I'm most comfortable with mostly. But for this one, I decided to use my Colerase pencils, my watercolor pencils, and some watercolor here and there, along with regular colored pencils, I feel like. So this was kind of my drawing of her. So the character was just her, and I decided to add her with a Arabian horse because she is an Arabian princess, which I thought was pretty interesting. So I thought I'd add that to that and make it kind of more animal-like, just like the rest of my drawings. I love to incorporate animals whenever I can because sometimes my perspective and proportions get weird in people. So instead of trying to, you know, get better at that, I tend to gravitate more towards animals. So not that I can't draw people if I really try to. I have taken life drawing classes and things like that. It's just something I don't really enjoy drawing. I don't find people very interesting. Maybe that's not the case. I think it's just that I find animals way more interesting, so maybe that's why I tend to gravitate towards drawing them more than humans, but occasionally I'll add a human here and there. So this is the part in my sketchbook where I was actually going to the Shed Aquarium in Chicago. And of course I took my sketchbook with me and did all kinds of sketches of different fish and stuff. Some of my favorite fish that were there. Well, it was always nice to see Nickel there, which is a sea turtle that they have in the aquarium. And then I kind of just went around in all those tanks and sketched the fish that I really liked, or the fish that I wanted to get a drawing down of, I guess. And I was really exploring, you know, their textures. Like this is a brook trout texture. I really liked how they had like these lines and also dots and stuff like that on their body. And I don't know, I kind of just wanted to explore some forms and perspectives, and since the fish were moving around and swimming, it was more challenging than I thought to try and draw a moving subject. Never really done anything like that before. Luckily, when I was drawing the fish that do move a lot, they were usually in huge schools of the same fish, so whenever one of them went out of view, I could just continue the drawing by looking at the next one, which is really handy. But after this trip, I really did notice that, you know, fish are so interesting, and the way that some of them have more fins or more dorsals, and like the way that they're shaped are so different. And I really enjoyed the surgeonfish. I think those are one of my favorite fish there, mostly because they have these beautiful spikes on them, and there was this really beautiful like white pearl colored sturgeonfish, and I swear it looked magical because it had these spikes on it, but it just looks so like pearly, like that white shininess. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like if unicorns existed, that's like the coloring that they would be, because they're just so beautiful. And again, maybe in the aquarium itself, the lighting just made it look that way, but in any case, I was really gravitated towards those sturgeonfish. Here's some more drawings from that visit. And since I was standing with my sketchbook, and this is quite a big sketchbook, I ended up like standing, you know, and have drawing on the top half. And then when I would get done with this top half, instead of trying to draw way down here, I would just flip the page and continue drawing here and here and flip it as I needed. So here are some more sturgeonfish and a couple other things. There's some lamprey there, which were really gross. They were like suction cupped to the glass, and they had like these teeth that were just unsettling. And then there were some seaweed drawings here that I did. I really enjoyed how they had like these seed type stems, and they kind of just went into a bigger leaf. I thought that was really interesting. Something else I wanted to mention about this page is this guy here. Let me zoom in there for you. So this weird creature here, I actually got to spend a lot of time with this guy because he was in a smallish tank and there was a bench right next to it, so I was able to kind of sit down and really study this dude. He looks really freaking weird, and I only know this because I was looking through my camera roll that I saved to my computer from that day, and I took a photo or a video or something of him, and he just looks so bizarre. And I remember he was just so long that I couldn't fit him on this page, so I kind of continued him like underneath, if that makes sense, to get his little feet in there and stuff. Just super, super strange. And for the drawings that I have in here, and for this trip in particular, we ended up looking at everything and then going back and drawing what we wanted to. And because we spent so much time looking at everything and really spending a lot of time with the animals and looking at them, before we knew it, it was almost time to go. Like the place was closing because it was like limited hours or something. This was a while ago. I think it was like Illinois Free Day or something like that. But anyway, so I got to draw as many as I could in that amount of time, but I wasn't able to get to everything like the sea otters and all of the mammals and stuff like that again, just because it was so much walking and we just didn't have time to draw everything. But the next time I visit there, I definitely want to start drawing as soon as I get there and not worry about like looking at everything first. So for that reason, I will be popping in a few videos here and there, maybe at the end of where I draw these sketches, just to show you some other cool animals that I found there that I ended up taking videos of because I wasn't able to draw them there. So stick around for that part. There's also an axolotl here that I saw, that I took a lot of photos of seahorses and a whole bunch of other things. Like there's some really derpy looking fish. Alright, so next page here, I'm actually going to do a zoom in for you guys here. So here we've got some other weird things, like there were a lot of these polyp looking animals in the water. I don't remember what they're called, like I don't know if they're anemones, but I know there's some kind of polyps or something. I don't remember. I see some of them I actually wrote down what they were, but some of them I didn't, and the ones that I didn't, I'm kicking myself that I didn't. So, like this one was really strange. It was like a crustacean-y looking thing, but it had all kinds of like really sharp limbs and stuff. Super weird. This one I guess was called Old Wife. It's interesting. And then here's an eel. And I'll insert some videos I took of the eels, but their faces are just so strange because their eyes and like, I don't know, their jaw is just so pronounced. Like it's like an underbite, if that makes sense. And they were extra weird though because they kind of just were creeping in their tank, just being creepy. I don't know how to explain it. And then there's the back of a sea turtle. And then I'll flip around the page here. Oh my gosh, these were so cool. I forget what they're called, but it's a type of turtle. And I took a video of this guy because I just found him so fascinating. How they have like little pig noses. It was super strange. So I definitely wanted to put that in my sketchbook, and I also took a video of him. And they had like bat-like flippers. So they had like fingers, but like webbing in it. So they reminded me a lot of like bats. And then I love these, this is like a really rough sketch, but basically, I can't think of the name right now, like a lot of these, but the way that they swim, they kind of flutter their brim, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it, but this one in particular had this pattern on it. It was like a bunch of dots, and I didn't want to spend the time to like draw each and every one of them, so I just drew a couple that stood out to me. So one of them was an S, because, you know, S for Sarah, you know, or sketching or whatever. And then another one of the little patterns on it was it kind of looked like a dog paw to me, so I had to draw that one, and I thought that was kind of cool. A bunch of frogs, and I'll insert a clip of some frogs that they had there. Super cute. And then I believe this is a catfish. I don't really know, but I really enjoy how long their whiskers are and stuff. I'm just so fascinated with fish, way more than I was before this visit, after I got the chance to really study them. This is apparently a cross-river pufferfish, and I've never seen a pufferfish like up close before, and I'll show a picture or a video or whatever I took of this creature, and I did a couple drawings of them just because they're so derpy, you know? And their eyes, they're just very off-putting, but like almost in a lovable way. It like makes me kind of pity them. I don't know how to explain it. It like makes me want to like hold their fin and tell them it's gonna be okay. Like, quite odd. And then I really enjoyed these banded fingerfish because they had just these exaggerated like wisps on them, which is super fascinating. Then there were some lizards. When I was talking about the moving animals that were harder to draw, these guys here were very still and they were very easy to draw. So as you can see, there was an alligator sleeping here. At least I think it was an alligator. And then another one that's eyes were open. I'll pop a couple images. I didn't even have to take videos of these guys because they were so still. Like, what's the point? So I just took photos of them. This was a unique perspective that I found of one that was a little bit higher up, so I kind of just did a like a worm's eye view of this guy. His chin here, I think it was pretty interesting. And then I love this fish. I'm so mad I didn't write down all of the names of these, but I guess I'll have to visit again and write them all down. But I was just so fascinated. There were swarms, or not swarms, schools of fish, I should say, of these. And they had these super pronounced melons. I don't know how else to describe it. There were like bubbles on its head. I think if I'm remembering it correctly, they had all different types of colors too. Like there were really, really bright orange ones and like black and white ones. They had a lot of variety in them, if this is the one I'm thinking of. But like the contrast of this like giant bulge and then all of like this spiky, like wispy fins here, I don't know. It's just such an interesting creature with like this beak, the short beak. I really enjoyed this guy. There were so many of them. And I mean, how can you not say that's interesting? Like, come on. And last but not least, some turtles here. I think these are just regular turtles, or this could have been the one with the pig nose too, I don't really remember. Some turtle shells. Thank you guys so much for watching part 2 of my sketchbook tour. As promised, here are some of the extra clips that I took of animals that I wasn't really able to have the time to sketch while I was at the Shed Aquarium. So I'll let those play as I continue to talk to you here. So as usual, I do have some affiliate links of the supplies that I used in this video here, or as I should say, the supplies that I used for the sketches that I showed you in this tour here. And those links are in the description, so feel free to go check those out if you want to be art supplies twins with me. That'd be awesome. And while you're down there, I do have all my socials linked below. It'd be really cool if you were to hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do upload a new video every single Friday, and next week's will be the finale of my sketchbook tour. And after that, I do plan to customize this customizable cover of the sketchbook to showcase some of my favorite sketches and come up with a cool design to finish off this sketchbook. So look forward to that. I've got all kinds of fun videos planned for the future, so it'd mean a lot to me if you guys followed my journey here on YouTube. If you've made it this far, please leave me a comment and tell me which of the sketches in this part of the sketchbook tour was your favorite. Have you ever been to the Shed Aquarium in Chicago? And if so, let me know. Do you have any cool experiences or fond memories from there? Let me know. I love visiting the Shed Aquarium, and it'd be cool to hear some other perspectives on it. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.